Okay, everyone, welcome to our Plexus and pregnancy postpartum call. We are here to share with you guys all about how the Plexus supplements and and what they do, which is a big focus on gut health. We're focusing on how that can help you or a friend, if you're watching this for information to kind of send to somebody else, how it can help through pregnancy, maybe even prepping your body for pregnancy, as well as postpartum life, mom life, which can be tough, as I know a lot of us in here can attest to. And we have 3 guest speakers tonight. My name is Nicole Odermatt. We also have Joy, Jessica, and Lindsay tonight. We're going to be starting with Jessica, but before she gets into her story, I want to share a little bit about what I started with and when that happened, because when I found these products, it was a little bit too late. I missed it for pregnancy, never heard about Plexus when I was pregnant. And it wasn't until, I guess, a year, I was 1 year postpartum, whenever I had first heard about these products. And I really didn't get started with them until my daughter was 1.5 years old. But at that time, I was actually still dealing with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. When, you have that checkup, which is a couple months out, or maybe it's like your 6-week appointment with your doctor, and they're checking on you. And I don't know if any of you have had this too, where you have to fill out this form and talk about how you're feeling and all those things. And then I filled that out. Obviously, you could tell I had the baby blues, which I kind of knew that from the beginning, but that's all I thought it was. I was like, okay, it's the baby blues, they go away. Well, at this appointment, the doctor could tell I was very just, I don't know, almost like apathetic and just out of it. And she just kind of pulled me aside and was like, I think, you are dealing with postpartum depression, and I wanted to prescribe something for you. So basically she went right to the prescription route. And my daughter's pediatrician actually also noticed that I was dealing with postpartum depression. Right around the same time I was doing a checkup for her, and they had brought it to my attention. So when my doctor gave me the prescription, I set it aside and never filled it. I just pushed it away and was like, that's not me. I'm not dealing with that. And I basically just turned the other cheek and didn't want to admit that that's what I was dealing with, which isn't the best course of action. I honestly wish I sought counseling or something like that, but I really wish I knew about the connection between gut health and your mood. Like, the gut and the brain communicate with each other. They are so much more connected than I ever realized at the time. And yeah, I found out about it too late almost, or I shouldn't say too late. At least I found out about it then, but it really changed the game for me, even that late in the stage of postpartum for me. I was still sad. I was still moody. I went a whole year or so just not being myself, being really snippy with my husband, being super moody, just still being depressed and having a lot of anxiety. And when I started with Plexus, I started with a gut health combo called Triplex, which we'll talk about later. And it was the key. It helped improve the good bacteria in my gut, get rid of the bad stuff in my gut, repopulate all that good bacteria, the probiotics, to really help my gut thrive. And in turn, that helps my brain, that helps the mental health, the mood, and all of that. So it wasn't an immediate overnight fix, but pretty soon, after a little bit of time, we started to notice some changes. And really, it was my husband that noticed the first changes. And then my best friend noticed the difference in me. And then I started to realize, okay, this is that Plexus stuff, because I hadn't changed anything else in my life at that time. And so I really, really feel this is so important for postpartum life, to get your gut in balance. It helps balance your hormones as well, and is really good for the mood. So I'm going to turn it over to Jessica, because she has had 2 pregnancies. She's got 2 kiddos, and one of them was with Plexus and one was without. So let's hear what she has to say about that.
Hi. So to back up, my story from the beginning was that I was diagnosed with celiac right after I got married in 2013. and it was really, really cute because I kept looking like I was pregnant, but I was very much not pregnant. And I kept having to go to the ER because I had like major bloating, and tried everything, tried every diet, tried every prescribed probiotic, and all the things. And finally, I kept seeing Nicole's messages on Facebook and was just like, you know what? I will literally try anything. And so chatted with her. I think I got the triplex that night. Um, and I was scheduled to head to Africa. And so I was like, I need to get my gut healthy immediately before I go into this foreign country that probably doesn't have normal food whatsoever. And so I started it and I noticed an immediate change all over. I no longer had stomach discomfort. I obviously still have celiac disease, but it was none of the other side effects. I felt totally normal. I felt back to like my high school self. And so I was so excited. Um, I didn't get pregnant right away when I was married, but we were married for almost 7 years before I got pregnant. And that was right after Africa, right after starting Plexus. So I don't know if they are correlated. Obviously, I have no proof, but as soon as we started to try again after I got home from Africa, I got pregnant. It was almost like my womb was ready. My gut was healthy, and I was just like in a very healthy place. Because I was on Plexus for probably 3 or 4 months before I got pregnant. And so I was a believer, but I wasn't like, I was nervous. It was like, this is my first pregnancy. This is a gem I need to just protect. And so I didn't want to take anything. And so I got off everything. I didn't even take a Tylenol my entire pregnancy. I was psycho a little bit. And so I I told Nicole, I'll get back on it as soon as, I have a healthy baby in my arms. So I went that whole pregnancy. I really, really struggled. I was very nauseous. I gained close to 60 pounds, which was healthy for me. It was what my body needed to do to have a healthy baby. Any amount of weight is okay. But looking back, maybe I didn't need to gain that much weight. And so went through that pregnancy, had a healthy baby, got back on Plexus. And then whenever I got pregnant with my second baby, I was like, I have to stay on this. Like, there's no choice. I am so much healthier on it. My bowel movements are regular. My mood was stable. Similar with Nicole, I was very anxiety ridden my whole life, and Plexus has helped me just become so stable. Not that I don't have anxiety or I don't have those moments, but it just helps me to just remain more on a level ground, and I'm able to mentally see like, oh, I'm having anxiety, and so here are the things that I can do. It's like more of a clarity of mind for me. And so when I got pregnant, I stayed on Plexus.
Demanding an investigation into how it's possible.
Huh?
Oh, I thought they were someone was asking me a question. I'm sorry.
There was a month
Okay, so anyway,
New York.
I got on Plexus and I stayed on Plexus for my second pregnancy. And the difference between my first pregnancy and my second pregnancy was astronomical. First, I did not get the normal constipation that typically happens with pregnancies. I had no constipation whatsoever. So I stayed on the triplex. So I had the prebiotic, the probiotic, and the daily cleanse. So I had no constipation, which with my first pregnancy, I had a lot of. The second thing that I noticed was my mood. Because I have that anxiety at my baseline when I'm not pregnant, I have a little anxiety. When I'm pregnant, it spikes. That was more level. My husband noticed it. He was like, "You're so much easier to deal with this pregnancy. Like, I like you still in this pregnancy." And then The third thing. What did I tell you, Nicole? There was 3 things. It was a bullet point. Let me look at my text. Mom brain, anybody? Oh, my energy. Yes. So my energy. I was able to work out my whole second pregnancy. Whereas with my first one, I was so nauseated that I was just not able to. So there's something, as I was researching in the middle of the night after having my second baby, like, why was I so much healthier? There is something, and Nicole is way wiser and can explain it way better. But there is something, part of the triplex, that kind of helps to stabilize your sugars. And so that helps with reducing the nausea overall when you are pregnant. And so I will literally never, ever, ever get off Plexus, but definitely I would never go into another pregnancy without it. And postpartum, so my youngest is 9 months. I started recently noticing that my breast milk was slowing down. And I truly, I didn't know why, but I started drinking Hydrate, and I started increasing my bio cleanse, just in case there was anything like gut related postpartum that I needed to kind of get rid of. And within 1 week of starting to drink Hydrate, and increase my bio cleanse just by 1. So instead of taking 2 bio cleanse, I'm taking 3. My milk production has doubled, which is amazing. And I kind of thought I was drying up. So that's awesome. I'm all for Plexus and pregnancy and all the things. I also had multiple midwives look at all the ingredients this round. Just because I wanted to just make sure everything was, okay. And they were like, this is amazing. They loved it. One of the midwives wrote it down because she hadn't heard about it, as something to kind of help with, a lot of women who specifically struggle with constipation during their pregnancies. So yeah. Anything else? Did I miss anything, Nicole?
I don't think you did. That was incredible. And I loved what you said about your milk production and the fact that all the midwives were like loving what you're taking and totally approve of it and are happy to recommend it to others. I think that's so awesome. It really speaks to what the products are and what's in them. Yeah. And so going on from that, thank you so much, Jessica. That was amazing. When you said about women dealing with constipation during pregnancy, and this also is postpartum as well. Something that I dealt with, I totally wish I had BioCleanse and the probiotic back then. I think it was 25 weeks, maybe 20 something weeks, like closer to 30, but not quite. I actually ended up going to like the ER. I had like an emergency hospital visit over constipation of all things. I was supposed to walk in like there was a 5K race going on. I was just doing the 1 mile walk. Nothing strenuous or anything. I didn't even get to do my walk. Before the walk started, I went to try to go to the bathroom. I had to pee. I felt like I had to pee so bad, like all morning. Could not go. Tried to go before I went walking because I was like, I can't walk with this feeling. And I couldn't even go to the bathroom. Couldn't even go number 1, let alone number 2. I had been constipated for days, didn't realize that was actually the problem. And I had severe pains, and I could not stand or let alone walk. So we left the race, ended up my husband taking me to the hospital and realizing it was all just constipation. They had to give me an enema, which was very lovely. Had to deal with a couple of those, I think, during my pregnancy, because I had been constipated really my whole life since I was a kid, all the way through my early 30s. And it was even worse during pregnancy. And then also postpartum as well. And they give you those different over-the-counter pills, to take to keep things regular. It really didn't help me. I was also trying to down Miralax and stuff like that. And unfortunately, something that people don't want to talk about, but we're on a pregnancy call, hemorrhoids. That was awful for me. And after I delivered, which actually was a C-section, I didn't go to the bathroom for, I think, a whole week. I had gone 7 days without a bowel movement. and also was dealing with the hemorrhoid situation. So all of that being said, if I had ProBio and BioCleanse back then, which is part of our triplex, the gut health system, I think I would have been golden, if not at least a little bit more comfortable and more regular. So wish I had that stuff back then. So we are going to hand it off to Lindsay to hear her story. Lindsay, if you want to unmute.
Hi.
Yay, hi. Tell us also, where you're from, what you do, and how old your children are.
Sure. So I live in Maryland and I am a teacher. I teach second grade. So I'm very tired all of the time. I also have a 3-year-old at home. Um, so gosh, I don't even know how many years it's been now that I've been taking Plexus, but Nicole, saw my desperate pleas for stomach help. I was having constant bloating and acid reflux and heartburn and was just miserable all the time. So I started Triplex originally for that. I kind of fell off 5 years. Okay. I think so too. That sounds about right. I kind of fell off the triplex for whatever reason. I kind of like stopped taking the slim and just focused on the ProBio and the BioCleanse. So when I got pregnant, that's what I was taking. And I had a very easy pregnancy. I literally had no issues whatsoever. I know probably a couple people are rolling their eyes at me right now, but I, heard all these horror stories and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to go to the bathroom. Delivery is gonna be horrible. Like people told me I would have to like use the bathroom before I left the hospital. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So, and then like Nicole said, I had heard like people had like hemorrhoids. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So, I didn't have any of that. I had no vomiting. I maybe had a little bit of nausea like my first trimester. I didn't have any cravings. It was just like I was normal, but like I had a person growing inside of me, I think I gained like around 30 to 40 pounds. It was nothing like excess. And it all fell off really fast. I returned to my pre-pregnancy weight probably within 6 months, maybe. I didn't have any like pain or anything. It was just really, really easy. I want another one for that reason, not, it's the after part that's like the hard part. But the pregnancy was super easy, and super fun. And I'm like, just like Jessica, I'm like super anxious all of the time. But during my pregnancy, I was just so calm and like so just happy. I don't know, it was like weird. I'm like, who is this person? So prior to getting pregnant, I felt like these like weird bumps on my neck. I'm like, I don't know what that is. So I went to my doctor and I'm like, I don't know what this is. Like, should I be concerned? And she's like, no, it's fine. Okay, whatever. So, I get pregnant, go through my pregnancy, go to my 6-month postpartum checkup, which was like 9 months. Whoops. And my OBGYN's feeling my neck and she's like, those aren't supposed to be there. I'm like, okay, well, what are they? So she's like, we need to get those tested, so I go to get an ultrasound and here I have thyroid nodules. And I ended up having Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disorder, which I had no clue. So I went through my postpartum. I'm like, of course I'm tired, I'm a little moody. I'm thinking, okay, this is normal postpartum stuff, but mine was a little bit more magnified. And I did not know because I didn't have the typical symptoms of Hashimoto's. And I think that because I was taking Plexus, it helped me, kind of get through some of those typical thyroid symptoms. And I did add in the slim probably like 3 months postpartum because I was struggling with breast milk production also, which was, of course, really difficult.
So, fast forward, I ended up having my thyroid removed because of my nodules. They were pretty much precancerous, and that was not a chance I was willing to take. So, um, I think had I not had plexus, that would have been a really, really, really tough road. The the post surgery period would have been really, really tough. Getting my thyroid levels back on check would have been really hard. I've been on the same medication for a year now. Plexus has helped to level out my thyroid levels, so I really haven't had issues with that. So it's been amazing. It really has.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you so much, Lindsay. That's amazing. And I love that you also shared about your thyroid situation. And for anyone listening, Plexus doesn't claim to cure, treat, or prevent any diseases or anything like that. But what I will say is there's been so many people and even, close friends of mine that have different autoimmunes, especially a lot of people with thyroid conditions that Plexus has helped at least reduce the symptoms of and or help reduce medications for some people. So if there's, you're listening to this and you're not pregnant or you are, or whatever, you're somewhere in between, there's many other things that these products help with. It is not just, these supplements are not just for, having babies and all that stuff, but it's amazing for mom life as well. So thank you, Lindsay. And I want to hear from Joy as well. And then I am going to talk about a couple of the key products that we use for postpartum and pregnancy. So take it away, Joy. I'm going to spotlight you.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
there you go. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Yeah, so my name is Joy, and I am 42 with an unexpected pregnancy, thanks to Plexus.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness.
I have a 9 and 7-year-old daughters. I have 9 and 7-year-old daughters, and I mean, I kind of wanted to have a third baby, but just started having children later in life. And yeah, it was kind of karma too, because I was saying, like, why would anybody have a baby in their 40s? So there was a lot of karma. But what happened was just I had been using Plexus. So see, when I got pregnant, it was about the 11th month marker of using Plexus, and my body just got so healthy. It made it happen. And before Plexus, if I had gotten pregnant at this age, I would have been devastated. And a lot of people have touched on the anxiety issues, and I have struggled with that as well my whole life. And so that's what I mean by, like, I would have been devastated, because the thought of everything I had gone through before Plexus with my 30s was really rough. And, I have 2 daughters, 19 months apart, and that was hard. And so the thought of going through that, even though it wouldn't be 2, it would just be 1, thank goodness I'm not having twins. That was also a worry. But just mentally, I would have been devastated from it. And it would have been really hard to get through just the news and all that. But instead, my husband, who also uses Plexus, we just kind of laughed hysterically about it. And, I tried to be in denial as long as I could. But, we talk about not having rough symptoms with pregnancy. I ran Hood to Coast, which is a relay race. I ran my best Hood to Coast, not knowing I was pregnant. And also I had COVID, not knowing I had COVID. I found out that I tested positive the next day. And, your body's just healthy with these products and does things it's supposed to do when it's healthy. So I'm now 24 and a half weeks pregnant and having a boy, which is very exciting too. And, this is just very exciting. My previous pregnancy is to add to, the mental part of what would have devastated me too was, with my first pregnancy, I gained 90 pounds. I used to battle hypoglycemia a lot, and then pregnancy made that even more exacerbated. And I'm a dietitian, and so it's not like I ate junk food, but when you're battling your blood sugars, to just be able to function and not feel crummy, you have to have food around you all the time, and have, I mean, it wasn't that I was eating bad food. It's just food is calories. Food is in excess energy. If you're, eating it every 2 to 3 hours is what I had to do during my pregnancies. And then, but even when I wasn't pregnant, I was very much used to be held captive by food, because of needing to know what am I doing? Am I going to be away from a snack for too long? Am I going to bottom out? And so my first pregnancy, gained 90 pounds, was able to get the weight off through a lot of hard work. And then with my second pregnancy, gained 65, I think about 65 pounds. So thought I was doing a little better with that one. And then the baby weight was really hard to take off, and really hadn't came, all the way off until I started with Plexus. And that's why I started with Plexus, is to help with weight management. It was gut health was something I had never, really thought I needed. I mean, even as a dietitian, I thought I had a healthy gut. I never made the connection that my hypoglycemia could be related to an unhealthy gut, or that my anxiety issues could be related to an unhealthy gut. But I got on the products to help me manage my weight. And not only did the weight come off easier than anything I've ever done before, but those other conditions, hypoglycemia and anxiety, became tolerable. It became manageable. And I was able to recognize more what certain artificial foods really triggered it, because my healthy gut would tell me. And so, but back to the pregnancy, so I guess I'm about 6 months through, and I've gained 20 pounds. And just, it's been amazing. Like, I've always been a bigger woman. And with my other pregnancies, I was always afraid of that.
Oh, okay.
That they wouldn't know I was pregnant. They would just think I was putting on weight. Like, I really yearned for that moment of when it was obvious. And now this time around, people have said, after, not seeing me for a while, they come and they say, "You finally look pregnant." And and that has just, has been a highlight of this too. So at 42, I'm having, a fantastic, the best pregnancy out of all 3 of them. And it is thanks to just my health being optimized. I've had to adjust my regimen some, because, like everybody else has talked about, constipation is an issue with pregnancy, but I've been able to keep that at bay. I had to, again, tweak my regimen, but to fight off the hormones and the constipation that can come with the area being all crowded. But
I'm trying to get out of it. Let me see. Out of the video. I don't know how to get out of the video.
Is there somebody that's unmuted? Can you mute yourself? I can't. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry. I was having trouble clicking the mute button on a couple people. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. And so with my second pregnancy, I did have to get some prescription help with the constipation. And yeah, not an issue at all this time around. And just being regular just keeps you in a better mood. And so even with increased hormones, I have my vital biome that just keeps me happy. And I'm just a happier mom with Plexus. My kids even say that, but before pregnancy, they could tell and say I was a happier mom, and they were so happy that I found Plexus. And then, even through pregnancy, yeah, it's going wonderful. So 42, unexpected baby, and loving it.
That is such an incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so glad you were on with us today, because I hadn't met you yet. For those of you that are watching, I know Jessica and Lindsay, but I hadn't met Joy yet. So this was such a blessing to have you here with us. And I can relate to the, happiness thing. My husband basically calls my gut health pills my happy wife, happy life pills. And he doesn't let me run out or doesn't want me to, because it's not usually pretty if I go too long without the Vital Biome. And my main regimen is the triplex and the Vital Biome. And I also love the active. I have a question for you, Joy. Maybe you mentioned it and I might have missed it for a second. Did you mention how long you had been on Plexus before you got pregnant, the products?
Yeah. So it was about the 11th or 10th mark, 10 months fully.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
and your regimen was what at that time for 10 months?
I started out with for weight management. So I was making vegetable smoothies with the protein shake and triplex essentially.
Awesome.
I was using MetaBurn, hydrate every night, because I was also prone to muscle cramps my whole adult life and waking up with them in the middle of the night. And so I drink a hydrate before I go to bed, and I still do. Sometimes now with pregnancy, I'll do more than one hydrate a day. And but originally though, it was for weight management. So it was triplex with the weight management products. And then I just loved how I was feeling and said, okay, what else do you got? Because this stuff works.
That's so wonderful.
Collagen. I've been using the collagen too since
good.
The new year. And I've had issues with thin hair. I've had issues with hair falling out. And I'm kind of excited to say, I've made jokes about this baby's going to be born with a full head of hair.
That's great. A Joyome collagen baby head. I love it. And that's going to be helpful for you postpartum, because hair loss was an issue for me for sure. And I've always been one that I feel like the hair was always coming out, when you brush and it's all over the house. But then postpartum, it was really bad. And then of course, eventually that got better. And then, then I had COVID quite a few months back, and ended up on a couple months after the COVID is when I started losing hair from that. It was very strange. And that's what I correlated it to. And I had been off my collagen for 6 months. God knows why. I just decided to stop. I don't know. I just got lazy and then was like, I'm just not going to order it for a while. And it was I hadn't ordered it since February. My hair, I was losing it all this past summer, towards the end of summer and into early fall. I realized, okay, let's just get it back on the collagen and see what happens. I honestly did not expect it to work, even though I've seen so many testimonies of people using our collagen and our X Factor vitamin to grow hair. I decided, okay, let's make sure we're consistent on the vitamin and take the collagen. Lo and behold, I've got, and you probably can't see in this, maybe you can a little bit, these little hairs. They're embarrassing. In real life, I feel like there's always these 2-inch hairs now coming out, because the collagen has grown my hair back. And where before I was getting really embarrassed of how thin it was getting, and I could feel it as I was running my hands through it, I'm feeling a little bit of a difference, and I'm seeing those little baby hairs come in. So I'm super excited. So that's definitely a must for postpartum mom life, if you guys are looking for things like that after you have a baby. Another thing that, and I think most of the ladies mentioned, was the hydrate is very important. And I have another friend that said it had helped her milk supply a ton as well, using the hydrate. Lean shakes are really great for moms to have after having a baby, especially when you're breastfeeding and you're trying to keep your supply up and you need to eat a lot. Adding that protein to different things, say you're having and I'm not saying to replace a meal with it. I mean, you can on the run, but ideally when you're breastfeeding, you're eating more calories and stuff. So use the lean shakes as an addition instead of a meal replacement, like people use it for weight loss. You will actually use it as an additive. So you can add it to your oatmeal in the morning. You can have a shake as a snack in between meals. I make protein balls with it, we have so many different recipes if you ever need anything like that. And the triplex I wanted to address real quick before we hop off here. Now we are pretty much at our time that I wanted for this, for how long I wanted this to be. But one of the girls had mentioned about the slim, and I think it was Jessica, about balancing your blood sugar and all that. And, I had taken these products, basically my core set of products, minus a couple of the weight management products. I'd taken everything else to my OBGYN, because right now, I have a 7-year-old, but I am also currently trying for a second baby. However, I'm about to be 40 this year. So may not really happen, but here's to still hoping, wishing, praying, and trying. But I had taken all my products to them and made sure, hey, I want to get your thoughts on these. If I were to, well, first of all, while trying, do you approve of these? And also, if I were to get pregnant, what are your thoughts on me continuing these products? And honestly, even if she said no, I was probably still going to take them because I'm like, I know my body better. Some people just don't understand what these products are and don't really understand how they work. Some doctors will look at it and just be like, nope, because they look at it, they see the word slim and they think, oh, that must be weight loss. But really the slim, our pink drink, which is one of our most popular products, it's not going to make you lose weight if you don't have weight to lose. So many, many women have had it approved by their midwives, their doctors, their OBGYN, whatever, even lactation specialists, things like that have had it approved. If you talk to the right doctor that actually will take the time to actually look at the ingredients, look into them and really understand what it's all about. And so I was so happy for my doctor to say yes. She was very happy with it. And she said, oh, yes, I have heard a lot about Plexus. I've looked into it. I highly approve of you taking these products. And I made her look at all the labels. So I was like, okay, just don't give me a blanket statement. I want you to look at all what I'm giving you. She looked at the vitamins, all these different things. And she was just really happy with everything. So that made me feel a lot better, a lot more comfortable. My endocrinologist is also really happy with it. I do see them yearly to check on my thyroid because I had some hyperthyroidism during my pregnancy previously. So I always get checkups on that. But so the Slim, it was originally created by some scientists that were trying to create a product that would actually help balance blood sugars for diabetics. But what they found was, some of the people that also needed to lose weight, if they needed to lose weight, they were losing weight. If they didn't, that wasn't affecting them. But for everybody, it was really helping people balance their blood sugar. So this is our Slim Pink drink. It also has antioxidants in it. It has heart health benefits. It helps with your metabolism. It can even help with curbing like your sweet tooth. For me, it's helped me a lot. I used to be really, really into sweets, like not just talking pregnancy, you guys, and postpartum. I'm talking like my whole life. Had a bag of candy with me at all times, ate ice cream twice a day, every single day, no excuses. And so now like I could just walk past ice cream, like I don't even need it. Like I'll eat it. I don't say like I don't allow myself to have ice cream. It's just one of those things where my body is so well balanced that I don't crave it. I don't need it to live and survive. Same with caffeine and coffee. I don't need that all day anymore. So anyways, just love our pink drink. It helps with insulin sensitivity, and insulin is the master hormone of our body. So when you're helping your insulin, that insulin is also communicating with all the other hormones in our body. So this really is great for your hormones postpartum as well as during pregnancy. Again, this is not medical advice. This is just us speaking from our experiences and from other people's, just from some knowledge that we have acquired and just knowing other people's stories as well. But this pink drink is also paired with our 2 gut health products if you get in our triplex combo. And those are called BioCleanse and ProBio 5. So these 3 products are called triplex. And what it does is first of all, let's just real quick talk about the gut being like a garden. If you imagine you're like a flower garden, has a bunch of flowers in it, but also has weeds in it, you can go ahead and plant more flowers in that garden, right? That's great. It'll crowd the weeds a little bit, but it's not going to actually pull those weeds out. You have to get something that's going to pull them out, right? You got to get rid of them. Take care of your garden. So if your gut is like a garden, yeah, you can go ahead and put more probiotics in your body, and that's great. That's what you're going to find when you're getting a probiotic from the store or your prescription probiotic or whatever. It's just probiotics usually. With ours, you're getting not only probiotics, you're also getting digestive enzymes, which you normally have to buy separately. But ours, it's right in the capsule. And you're also getting an antifungal that combats the candida yeast overgrowth in the gut. So imagine that as the weeds in your gut. So our probiotic is literally weeding your gut, getting rid of the bad stuff, pulling out that candida yeast in your gut. It's replenishing it with the good bacteria. The pink drink also has prebiotics in it, which feed the probiotics in your gut. So the Slim with the prebiotics, it's basically helping your probiotics to thrive and multiply. And then that third component of triplex is called BioCleanse. And it is a gentle daily gut cleanse. It has magnesium and vitamin C, and it's super effective. And everything that ProBio 5 is killing off from the gut, the BioCleanse just gently sweeps it out of the gut. So those three work really synergistically together. And it's one of our basic, most popular health combos, a great basis to start with. However, we have so many other products that are really great for you and your body.